Hello YouTube! I am making this video to discuss an idea for a story I'd like to write. The story is kind of a mixture of The Matrix and the 13th Floor. Though to be honest, and maybe no one will believe me, but I came up with this idea back when I was in high school. So it's actually more of an evolution of that idea. But I noticed that it was real. Back in high school, the idea I had was actually very much like the idea in the 13th Floor. So, the idea I had was to make a book about probably several stages, but the initial idea I have right now involves a scientist he creates an interface device where humans can willingly hook themselves up to the machine to experience a virtual world. Well, after he does this, an unintended side effect turns out to be that the universe inside the virtual world moves roughly 10 times faster or something. So people that say go in for an hour end up living almost a year of life, and the machine takes maybe a certain amount of time maybe to disconnect them, so they're unable to do anything more than, or anything less I should say, than experience a year of life inside the machine. It's an accident, of course, and while the scientist wants to create a fix for it, one of his partners decides that he's going to contract this idea out to the government for use in taking care of the prison population problem, where instead of forcing the prisoner to experience a real life 99 to 100 plus, whatever years he's been convicted of, having, or been forced to serve, he'll live it out in the virtual world. Thus, he won't lose his life per se, but he'll have the experience of serving that time, and thus will, in theory, be a reformed criminal. Of course, whether or not that works, that might be part of the storyline somewhere too, but so that's one side element. And going back, the scientist eventually could probably come up with solutions. I haven't really given it too much thought past the initial idea. I know that eventually the virtual world would all be interlinked, very much like the Matrix is, so everyone entering is interacting with real people, and eventually the introduction of virtual identities where you can change how how you're perceived based off how you're feeling. This could raise controversy, of course, much in the same way real life massive multiplayer online games do, where many guys, even myself, will play as opposite gender just because, well, it's boring being who you really are, and so maybe in this virtual world, people will take it to the next step, where now they're hooked up to their virtual character and really experiencing what it's like. So, these are just ideas, of course, and kind of the only main central theme is this scientist, who I might name him for now. I'll give him the name Kevin. So Kevin, which that name won't stick because that's my pen name, but whatever his name will be the main character for like the first story. Besides that, ideas, suggestions, they could go any direction. I could tie it into yes, it could be a drama, it could be a sci-fi. Well, it technically is a sci-fi no matter what other elements come in. It could even be a conspiracy theory story. The Illuminati could be the ones responsible for funding the scientists, and they could be the reason why it gets in the government's hands for use in prisons. Or I might just avoid the whole conspiracy angle altogether and try to keep it more to the idea of globalization of technology leads to further globalization. The more we come up with technology that lets us interact with everyone, the more we want more. I haven't really decided. That's why I'm hoping somebody out there will have some ideas. I like to brainstorm. And this is my first step. And definitely the first time I brainstorm with hopefully a decent sized audience for this video. So, comments, suggestions, ideas, nothing too specific of course, because I want to base this off any ideas, but I don't want to feel like I'm stealing ideas. This story will be posted on fictionpress.com. That's fictionpress.com. It's a free site to join, free site to read, free site to post. So it's a pretty cool site, and that's where I publish most of my original fiction. Thank you, and have a good night, everyone.